We know what we're leaving behind or what we've lost, but we don't know what's coming up. So that's the stage I think that people can really struggle with the most. So I'm going to ask today for cards, for messages for if we're in that middle phase, what I call the void, if we're in the void. Okay, so Parrot Spirit, watch your words. When we're in that time of change and transition where things maybe haven't gone as we intended, change is unexpected, and we're feeling a bit nervous about what's coming up next, we can fall back on to thinking negatively of ourselves or using the same sort of familiar patterns of words. So not just going back to familiar things that we do, but familiar things that we say to ourselves. Like, oh, you messed that one up again, or it's not going to work, and why don't you just go back and, just the same old, thinking that we're not good enough for something really concrete to change, for something really different, for a new way of being. That somehow we don't deserve it, or that it's never going to happen, or it's not right, or, we can start to tell ourselves all sorts of negative words just because there's familiarity in that. So Parrot Spirit is inviting us to watch our words and to use this time when we're in that middle space, when we're in the void, to really think about how we talk to ourselves, what thoughts we have about ourselves, and how they influence our actions and behaviors, and how they influence the way we lead our lives. Because our words are our creation, really. We create our lives using our imagination and our words. So the invitation here is to pause while you're having this cup of tea and while the tea is brewing in this middle void space, to think about who we really are, whether we believe everything that we say to ourselves that's negative, truly, whether we truly believe it, or whether it's a pattern, a habit, a way of being that we've fallen into, and what ways that we could change our future by changing the way we think about ourselves and changing the sense we have of the possibilities that are open to us. And this is where I think answering the call comes in, because answering the call is really, this is the universe and spirit saying, hello, we're here. Wake up. This is your time. The difficult things that you have left behind, or that are behind you and led you to this place now, have led you here so that you can answer this call to change the way you move forward, and to look at moving forwards in a more fruitful, positive, kind way. I'm thinking kind to yourself. And in order to do that, you need to brew with the reality of where you are, what you want to change about yourself, not necessarily about external situations, but about the way you think, feel and behave, about the way that you lead your life. Take this time now to think about it while you're in the middle void space. Think about how you could use your words more kindly towards yourself and answer that call to step into a new phase, moving forwards more positively, using your imagination in a more hopeful and wide open way. You know, if you think about the open skies up where those clouds are and all that field of possibility that's there, and then moving with the chariot, so the chariot harnessing your power. Again, with the chariot here, you can see on this particular one, it's got 2 arrows this way or that way. It's the point of, you know, are you going backwards? Are you going forwards? Are you going to go back to the same old familiar old, I can't do this, that's never going to happen, blah, de blah. Or are you going to really harness the power of your mind, your thoughts, to check in with yourself more regularly, to see whether you're treading that well-worn path, or to see if you're getting onto your motorbike and taking a new direction where you're using your will. I don't know, maybe not your will, but your your will. You know, you've made a decision and a commitment then, haven't you, to take control of the way your mind works when it's telling you negative things, and to come back to a more positive approach and a more real approach and a kinder approach towards yourself, and a more open approach in terms of hopefulness and being realistic about the possibilities going forwards, because the possibilities are there, of course, obviously, for the world to open up in a whole range of ways that we don't know about yet. You know, when we're in this middle space, we don't know what might come up. It's like in week 1, you know, we had the card, the driftwood, saying, you know, the card is drifting around, but it might end up on a beautiful beach. And so we have to have that possibility open in our minds for that to happen, because we're creating our words, our worlds with our words. Okay, so answer the call while you're in this middle space of transition. Changing your thoughts, feelings and words about yourself. Using your imagination about the beautiful future. Letting this transition process happen, which takes time. Just as tea takes time to brew, you know, it takes time. And then moving forwards with commitment, harnessing your thoughts and feelings, and moving forward with intent. Okay. So, honor this process. New things are coming. Use this. Just one quick word that keeps coming back to me, thinking about this and the way we talk to ourselves. If you do struggle with that sort of negative self-talk or self-criticism, then one of my change programs might be really helpful for you. Just have a look on my website and look at the Change and Growth. I'll link it below as well, but look at the Change and Growth programs, which are designed specifically for this kind of thing. But anyway, otherwise, I hope you've enjoyed this. If you have, then please like it. Thank you for spending this time with me, and I will see you again next week for another video on the theme of change and transition.